Ciao Bella, welcome to Bello Uncinetto. I'm Christina, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. If you're new, welcome in. If you're returning, welcome back. No matter how long you've been here, I always appreciate your time. I am definitely not in my normal space, um, so I don't really have things to like grab to show you. For a little while, the videos might be a little different. I mean, I do have my computer. I have my excuse me. Sorry. I have my camera and my microphone and things like that, but um, I am in the States and I am here for a little while with my son's surgery and all of that. So um, I don't have like physical things to show you for the most part. So a lot of it will be showing you things from my phone or like editing in pictures when I can and things like that. So um, I want to talk to you today about a little trip that I took. And if you have been around for a little while, then you know that recently I was in the UK. Uh, and I did get a chance to see my wonderful Yarny bestie Sam. And that's not what this video is about. We'll talk about that in another video. But uh, I was working, right? I got a job doing some house sitting and pet sitting in the UK, which is amazing. Um, and it was for a colleague that works in the same school system that I'm in, and we were able to do a house exchange. So, I mean, I didn't get like paid for the job, but I had a place to stay, which was cool. And I was in the UK, which was awesome. So, um, one of the things that I got to do was um, go to the Peterborough Cathedral. This was an absolutely phenomenal place. Uh, they don't really have things like that in the States. They have some cathedrals in Italy. I've been to some. But this place was just beyond expectations. I mean, there was, I was joking and I was calling it a church. Because, I mean, it's a place of worship. So, but it's so much more than that. Like, there was a church, like, in the area that belonged to the, like, compound of the cathedral. But there was, the cathedral itself had, like, a square. And the day that we went, there were people, like, literally picnicking on the grass. It was a sunny day. It was lovely. It wasn't super hot for me, but it was, uh, you could see a lot of people were fanning themselves. They were red, they were splotchy. Uh, but I went to the cathedral specifically to meet with two other YouTube people. Now, one of them has a channel of her own, and the other one is just an amazing supporter. And I don't say just as in less than, I say just as in she doesn't have a channel of her own, right? So we had been talking weeks and weeks prior to me coming uh, because the last time I was in the UK, I couldn't meet with this person because I was too far. And they were like, I mean, I could get to you, but it would cost an exorbitant amount and it would not be feasible time-wise. So this time, I let them know, and I was like, well, maybe next time I'm in the UK because I am super blurry. What is going on? Hold, please. Oh, there we go. Anyway, I was like, well, maybe next time in the UK because, I mean, I plan on coming back. And sure enough, I got another opportunity. And I had looked up her address to see where exactly it was in comparison to where I was going to be, and it was a lot closer. So I told her, I was like, hey, I'm going to be in this area, And she was like, oh, that would be just absolutely fabulous. I could actually make it to you. And I was like, okay, cool. So she was like, if you don't mind, I'd love to go to this place because I haven't seen it in years and years and years, and I would love to go back. And I was like, all right, cool. She didn't know, right, that I already planned to go, not because it's a cathedral, but because of who's buried there. So I got to see Lady Bird, Lady Bird Loves, and Perp. Her, that's kind of like the nickname that we give her, but her YouTube name is Knitting Purple. And they came all the way. We met at the Peterborough Cathedral, and we got to walk around and chat. My daughter was there, and then we walked around a little bit. We had some lunch, and then unfortunately, they had to leave. So we didn't get to spend a lot of time together. We did get a few hours, but they did travel. Lady Bird traveled several hours to get there, and Perp, I think, was like an hour and a half by train. But still, I mean, when you have to double that, that's a significant amount of time of travel, right? So we did get to hang out, we did get to chat, we had some laughs, we had a lot of fun, and I was so glad that we got to hang out. We did do a short live while we were eating lunch, where Perp and I had to try some gum from from Antoinette. Um, I was not a fan. It tasted a whole lot like soap, which I did not appreciate. Perp didn't mind it so much. There's a candy in the UK. It's like a violet candy. Now, I think I've had that before, and that wasn't as bad as that gum. I think it was because it was kind of like, I don't know how many of you would know this, but it was kind of like chiclet gum, where it had that hard shell on the outside, and that's where all of that flavor was. But in the violet candy, they're like American Smarties, where they're like a powdery kind of candy, if I remember correctly. So the flavor's kind of dispersed throughout. You don't get that hard, like, smack of flavor, which is what happened to me. And I know that Lady Bird tried it on a different live, and she said it was fine. Like, she even did two pieces, and she said, I don't know what she was yammering on about. It was fine. It was disgusting. I did not appreciate it. So, I'm going to be showing you some pictures. I know that I wasn't doing a lot of travel videos, and I don't plan on doing a ton more, but because I got to meet these two wonderful people, and they are tied to the YouTube community, I wanted to share this with you. I don't have any pictures of Lady Bird that I'm going to share because I don't have permission, but I am going to share some pictures of things that we did. And the cathedral was just stunning. And some pictures are going to start to come up of the cathedral. I mean, every aspect that I could put my eyeballs on was stunning. And we were walking through the cathedral, and we were about, I don't know, a little less than halfway through, when a lady comes up to us and basically tells us that we have to leave. And we all just kind of look at her, and she was like, there's a school group here, you have to leave. And Lady Bird was like, this is a public place. We were told by the gentleman in the red vest up there that we could go through. We asked before we ever even came in. So, no, we don't have to leave. She was like, well, then you just need to stay away from the children. Who? What in the world? That was incredibly insane. So we minded our business. We didn't even have any reason to be anywhere near the children. I mean, child of my own, I know. We're not going to interfere with their field trip, I promise. But we walked around, we took some pictures, And there were some little interactive things. Now, there were some things that were set up just for the field trip, and I did have to tell my daughter that she couldn't touch those things because you could tell that they were set up in groups. There were tables and things that was set up for a field trip. But there were other things that were interactive that were within the cathedral. And as we're walking around, there was one school group. There were multiple school groups there. The other school group that we went into for this part, the lady was not rude in the least. She was telling the story of Catherine of Aragon, and that's who's buried there. And if you don't know who Catherine of Aragon is, she's one of Henry VIII's wives. And I have always been fascinated with and a little disturbed, not gonna lie, with the choices that the king made. He changed an entire nation because he wanted a divorce. I mean, that changed the course of an entire nation. I mean, monarchs do all kinds of things that change the course of their countries, but I don't know, it just seems like a very personal decision, and that affects an entire group of people like that. But anyway, we got to see where she was buried. We took some pictures, and we did. I did. I stood behind the other school group and listened to what the lady was saying, because you only hear history from the perspective of your country, right? So, growing up in America, I knew what the American history books taught me, but being able to go to other countries and hear different tour guides tell history from their country's perspective, right? And it was a very, very unique experience to be able to sit there or stand there and listen to this lady explain the British history from their perspective, right? Because we only hear that he, got married and didn't want to stay married, so he got divorced, and then all of these wives, right, were either beheaded or whatever, and all 7 of them, except for the very last one. So that's kind of like, that's a very abridged version of what I got as a as a student, but we don't hear some of the details, right? Because to an American history, they're not necessarily as significant as they would be to someone who lives in England, because those small details make big changes in the country, whereas us, we're just observers, right? We're just looking at it and be like, oh man, what did this man do? And so, yes, we learned about it, because that's one of the things that Lady Bird and I talked about, was like, what do you guys learn about this stuff over there? And I was like, yeah, we learn about some of it. Like, I mean, I know who he is. I know, the list of his wives. I know his daughter was Elizabeth. She became Elizabeth first, right? And so forth and so on. But, some of the details that she's giving, we didn't learn, right? So, then we went through, there were some more interactive pieces. There's this really cool thing where you could draw something in the sand and kind of erase it to let it go. So it could be a fear, it could be something you're angry about, it could be something you felt was a sin or something like that. And you could write it and then erase it, or write the name of a person that you wanted to forgive and erase all of the things away. They had all these different things. So, and of course there was a little gift shop, and I have so many magnets from places that I've been that I decided to get a Christmas ornament, and I'll have that on my tree this Christmas. And then we went to lunch. We went to a place called the Queen's Head, and I had an absolutely delicious flatbread, although it had beetroot on it, which I don't mind the beetroot, but they were such thick slices of beetroot that I was like, it's so sweet that I'm gonna make myself sick eating all of this, right? So I cut some of the pieces that I could um, eat and like disperse them, like probably two, the slices were like this thick. Probably two pieces of the beetroot could I actually eat, and I sliced them up and put them on the flatbread, and the other pieces I just left on the side because I couldn't stomach all that. Um, but the flavor was absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately, my daughter did not like her meal. I tried to tell her that because the last time that we were in the UK, Sam had made sandwiches, and she made them with English cheddar, and my daughter did not like it. So on the menu, she saw macaroni and cheese, and she was like, I want mac and cheese, I want mac and cheese. And I was like, this is not going to be like mac and cheese that you're used to. This is going to be made with English cheese, most likely English cheddar, and you don't like that. She insisted. She got it. She didn't like it. So, I mean, to be fair, she did eat some of it, but um, it was the look on her face when she put it in her mouth and she realized that I was right. So, anyway, then we went to Primark because I forgot to pack my daughter's pants. And by pants, that's American pants, not British pants, because I said that out loud. I was like, I forgot my daughter's pants. This is the second time I've done this in England. Um, because pants in the UK is your underwear. They say trousers for like jeans or sweats or whatever, you know. But in America, pants are the jeans, and we say underwear for what goes under the pants. But when we were packing, I had set out some clothes because I was washing clothes, and I had set them out and decided that these were the things that I was going to pack for my daughter, and they never made it into the suitcase. So I had to go buy her some shorts and some jeans. And Ladybird and Perp were nice enough to tag along. It didn't take very long. I just needed to quickly grab a couple. But I mean, we were going to be there for like 3 weeks, so I needed to get something other than the pair of shorts that she had traveled in. And then, unfortunately, all too soon, it was time for them to go. And we walked Perp to the train station. But in doing that, Ladybird missed her bus. And I missed my bus. Now, I was significantly closer than either of them were. But we got it sorted, and I waited with Ladybird for her bus, which actually ended up being the bus that I needed to get on because she went right past where I needed to be dropped off. And then I sent her a photo because my daughter, ever the Energizer Bunny, once we got off the bus, decided to jog the rest of the way to the house. I mean, and she did fine, but I was like, this kid has so much energy. I like literally would make a fortune if I could like, and it wouldn't even phase her, to be honest. If I took some of it, like if I could siphon it and take some of it, it wouldn't even phase her at all. Not in the least. There's so much there. But anyway, that was our trip. I hope that you've enjoyed the pictures. I tried to include some pictures of the restaurant, the cathedral, and just some pictures of our surroundings, you know, because it was a lovely area, and I'm very, very glad that I had the opportunity to go. And spend time with some YouTube people. It's nice to be able to meet people in real life that you've chatted with and emailed back and forth. And now, you know, we have a 3D connection, not just a 2D connection. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you know of Henry VIII and his wives, and let me know what you think about the differences in the food, right? If you've been to different countries, how things that you might like in one country, um, or the way that things are made, especially in your home country, if you've ever had it in a different country, or even at somebody else's house, right? The difference in a recipe, right? Um, I would love to hear your thoughts on all of those things. And until I see you again, be well, be safe, and be the change you wish to see in the world, everyone. Ciao bella!